A few days ago, I was spiraling really hard. I was at a new job, just seasonal, and I was spiraling about a magnitude of things. I was upset that I was working for $15 an hour at the age of 25, when everyone I know is off to bigger and better things. I was angry because I was watching people casually spend more money than I could make in a month of working on little knickknacks, collectible souvenirs, and god awful lamps that we sell at this store I'm working at. And I was almost envious of how happy they all were. Everyone who came in was someone who had the money to be here with families and friends, and we're all having a great time. And I can recognize that I was envious and jealous and disappointed in a thousand ways about my own miserable existence. In the 8 hours I was working there, for maybe 5 of them, I felt like I was on the verge of tears, on the verge of crying, but I was holding it together because I had just started and I didn't want to look bad. And there was one thought: there's a woodpecker going fucking crazy over there, and it is distracting me so much. So I was spiraling. I was angry and sad and almost spiteful at things outside my control, things that I had no reason to really, things that I couldn't ever hope to control or have anything to advocate for. But there was one thought that came to my head, and within seconds, I can remember it as clear as day when the moment it happened, and it parted the clouds. The weight behind my eyes was lifted. I was able to stand up straight again. The fear of being this disappointing, disgustingly inept person just vanished instantly. And the thought was that I could drown in the lake right outside. I my terror of having to continue to live and exist, and the the mundanity of it all, it just vanished. And suddenly I was excited. I was I was free. I felt like all of a sudden I had confidence that I didn't have a few minutes ago. It was because the weight of needing to worry about living, being happy, being content, the constant fear of how others perceive me, it was just gone in just a second. I was happy. I was so happy. And everyone could see it, I think. No one knew, of course. But I started talking more. I was engaging more. I was moving around the store more. I was communing with people who just a few minutes ago I was envious of and saddened by their mere existence. I had thoughts in my head before of, I wish I was just so dull as to not worry about anything. I wish I was I wish I was born in another time where the world wasn't so outright unfair to everyone, or I wish I was in a different place, had different home, had different friends. I had all these thoughts in my head and they were just gone. The absolute certainty that if I really wanted, I could walk outside, walk along the beach, maybe with the assistance of some alcohol that they sold in that very store, which is worth 2 hours of my life, I heard that drowning is a peaceful experience at the end. That's all I thought of. I was so enraptured by the idea of escape, of getting out of this hell. The best way I could explain it is it felt like I was a child again. Seeing the sky and just being so full of wonder and awe and wishing I could go there. See the stars, and it was like seeing a fire truck for the first time, that childlike splendor, that that feeling of just, this is incredible. Not for any reasons that I could really articulate now, but that came from a simple wonder. Because it was beautiful, it was new, I would like to ride in that fire truck. I think that would be a fun thing to do. That simple, stupid emotional state, that was what it felt like to realize that if I so choose, I could just walk off, never come back. I've been told by a lot of people that they can empathize with me, or they understand where I'm coming from, but in every conversation I've ever had, I realized that no, they can't. Not really. And again, this is personal anecdote, things I've seen in my own personal life, which there are people who exist outside of it who I know could, but I haven't met them, I guess. But things like being afraid of the debt that I have from college and this useless degree. Like, and I would hear even from my own parents, well, I changed my degree and I did things that didn't need that degree that I got in the end, and I never really used it. But then I would ask them, and it was like, no, I went for free. My parents paid for all of it. The first job I got that paid very well, I just walked in and they just gave it to me. Stories like that. So no, you can't empathize. You don't know the chronic stress of being afraid of being unable to pay for this stupid decision I made. Having wages garnished for the rest of my life, probably. Because no one will take me. There's people who would, I would ask, people would say they know what it's like to be lonely. And so I would ask them, and they would say that, well, I could always turn to my family who were always there for me. And once again, it's not the same. I can't relate to my family. Not one of them. And that sounds almost absurd. It sounds like, even when I say it, it sounds made up, but I truly had nothing in common with any of them. Growing up to now. Raining. There's no clouds, but it's raining. It doesn't matter. So again, I don't understand. I can't empathize with my family. They're, what was I saying? The surface level things. I couldn't empathize with them because They were all so outdoorsy, and I wasn't. I was infatuated with technology and games, and they only cared about like playing in the mud. And I guess things have changed quite a lot because now I resent the things I used to love and I want to be out more. But even then, I was always the runt of the group, of the family. If anyone was ever picked on for anything, it was me. I wasn't bullied, but I was usually the butt of every joke. Things that people would do to tease innocently to themselves came across as personalized attacks on me, small things. Just every time I entered a room, it was, look, there he is. There he finally is. And everyone would smile and laugh, and not at me, but with the person making the joke, but it just felt like they were laughing at me. I wasn't the youngest, and again, everyone was kind, but they still just, they were so foreign to me. And the only people that really I felt like I could open up to because of it was the friend group I had in school, and we all fed off each other's interests, and the more attached to them I became, the less attached to family I became as well. And so again, I can't relate to family. There's people who've shared stories of hitting rock bottom, people who've gone homeless, and I've asked them what they mean by they can empathize with me, and they had people to turn to, friends who didn't want to charge them rent, and I'm grateful for the one friend who took me in, but for a while, no one wanted me. No one could tolerate me. Every time that I opened up more to my dad, he, not out of malice, but definitely out of a lack of thought, he thought the best way to help was by just taking more. He's hail. I think humans are very prone to attaching meaning to things that don't have meaning. But this is, I talked about the old past of sadness and disappointment and growing apart. It rained, and now as I talk about how at the lowest point in my life, I only have things taken constantly, it hails. I can't I can't empathize, or people can't correctly empathize with me for a number of things, for a number of reasons, because I am surrounded by people, at least at a distance, who say they want to help but do not have the capabilities to. You don't have the intelligence, the emotional intelligence, maybe. I say emotional because I am not a scholar. I'm not particularly well read. I feel like I know a great many things, but at a surface level. But there's people who I talk to who are older than me, twice my age, who have the emotional intelligence of a toddler. People who, when they're presented with an idea that is foreign to them, that is uncomfortable, they quick to anger and to confusion and to guttural instincts to replicate what their parents did to them in, in cruel fashion. I'm surrounded by people who claim to love God and Jesus or the Bible, whatever sect of religion they subscribe to, but any mention of trying to follow in the teachings of Jesus or the stories told in it, the actual things that happened in it, is met with accusations of being a socialist, which is the most telling way to tell that someone is only a part of this big religion or they're borderline cult-like personalities, not because they actually believe in it or want to learn more, but because they want to feel part of something without putting in the work to understand what the fuck it was talking about. I'm surrounded by people who the only way they can see the world is in a measure of how much work you put into it is exactly how much you are worth. It does not matter what products you make, you sell, or what you actually do with your life. It only matters about how much you're paid. Great example, and I'm sorry, Dad, one day you'll find this. Delusions of, because you are paid a lot of money, you assume that you are smarter than you truly are. And I see that everywhere. There's people who firmly believe that because someone is in a position of power, that they must know what they're talking about, that they must know what they're doing. And the easiest way to disprove them is, it doesn't matter where they're from, especially if they're American. You say then, you equally think that Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and I don't know, some other person, one of these people they're not going to like. You say they all equally are as intelligent as each other because they held extremely important positions of office? See, you say these things, you think these ways, but you don't think about it deeper. So what am I talking about? Why am I saying that I don't relate? It's people know what it is like for bad things to happen to them and to be saddened by them. And that is valid. That is, every human on the planet experiences that. Every human who's ever lived for any amount of time has experienced what it is like to be wronged or to lose something and to want to get better from it. They know what it's like to be sad, but they also know what it's like to be content and happy and want to go back to that. But I only know the first. I know what it's like to just... And I'm saying this, I can see the clip in the other video I made saying exactly the opposite. It's worth fucking trying, but I see the wall against me. Even when the wall is up against you, when the world is against you, when everything looks like shit, maybe you should still fight for what you fucking believe in. I see the odds stacked against me. So overwhelming, so insurmountable, that I cannot hope to get past them. Physical and mental. There's nowhere I could go to restart my life, really, in a way that I would find satisfying. You could tell the story of how, who was it, Napoleon or someone, a historical figure, was so broke and destitute that they left to another country to start their life over again, and they came back as a conquering general, but you can't escape anymore. Your history follows you no matter where you go now. Your past, your debts, your history, your work history, your resume, all of the documents about who you are and what you've done follow you. And there's more restrictions now than ever. I say I want to help people, but I don't have a car. Can't take myself to a charity. If I could, I wouldn't be able to spend any time there because I'd have to work to live. And the only places that would let me work there are places like this. The lowest of the low on the ladder of life. Paid crumbs. Paid nothing. Given the labor of a mule, which is so hyperbolic. Of course life is easy. I'm not worked like a fucking mule, but of course I'm using hyperbole. But I'm given the labor of someone who requires the intelligence of an infant. And I know that I have it in me to be something better, something greater than that, but I have no connection to make these things. I have no documented history to be one of these better people. I have no references or people in high places to refer to. I have nothing. And I don't know what I would want. See, I want to be around beautiful places and beautiful people, and I want to just talk, and I have the notion of wanting to help people in some way, but I don't know how. The idea of being stuck to one thing for the rest of my life terrifies me. Being in one place for a long time terrifies me. Because it's just the mundanity of it all. That's the thing, I keep talking about it now in these videos. It's the mundanity, the boredom. Maybe my brain is wilting and dying because of a lifetime of technology and the interconnectivity of the world, and I've been so overstimulated that anything less than it is so mind numbing to me now that I can't do anything. Maybe it's just, maybe there was a calling I had that I missed, that was such obvious signs that I missed and I failed to reach. So I can recognize that I should have been more than this. I should have been more than I am. I should have I should have been so much better than this. And yet that's all in the past. I can't change it. It would be foolish to just sit here and regret, but even looking forward, I don't know what to do. This place is beautiful, but I can't stay without being somewhere where all you can do is think about the things you spiral over. I think I should have listened to the people. I met a lot of people in my life, complete strangers, who at one point, it's a stupid memory. It's dumb, but this is my channel. I can talk about what I want. I met on 3 different occasions in 1 year, twice online, once in person, people who asked if I was a YouTuber. And it caught me off of left field. And they said that I talked in a way that they thought made me one, because I can say with confidence, I used to be a funny fucking kid, man. I think a lot of people saw it. And I was confused by it. And I had that part of me that did want that at a point and wanted to start doing things with friends, but I just never did. And look at me now, sitting here in front of a phone, languishing on the things that I never did. I the people here are so kind to me. Every single one of them. I've met nobody here yet who in any way seemed to be mean. In any way. I had people take me to see the geysers and this terrifying boiling cave of water and sulfur. I saw waterfalls and beautiful sights, and yet, as I was there, as I was seeing these beautiful things, I wished how badly I could just die so far away from my problems that the last thoughts I could have could be that I did see those beautiful places, those beautiful people, not needing to think about tomorrow, about the mundane cruelties of life, about the things that upset me, about things that made me feel pointless and clueless, and didn't have to think about how I let everyone down. I been asked a number of times while I was here by people about what I might do after, because I'm only here until October 15th. And I don't know. And when I think about it, I'm in a panic. A part of me wants to go back to college for some reason, just because I thought it was fun, but I don't know what for or what I would do. Another part of me wants to say I want to be homeless and travel and hitchhike and just go random places wherever I can. Another part of me wants to say maybe I should get a job where I drive a truck long distances across the country, because I did like driving quite a lot. But the one answer that I can't say is the one that I want to say the most is I wish there wasn't an after here. I wish that I wasn't such a coward and a hypocrite and so pathetic that I would have the guts to reach for that dream I've had forever of getting out of everything forever. And I know that people would be hurt by that. I'm very aware of it. I one time in an argument, my dad even said, "Do you know what that would do to me if you hurt yourself and you did something to yourself?" And it's not out of spite. It's I know they mean well. I know they love me. I don't want to just continue to exist and to suffer so that other people are comfortable. I don't want to have to I don't want to have to keep living solely due to the fact that someone might be sad if I wasn't. Just thank God he's still out there. Thank God he's still somewhere out there. Thank God he's still crying, and thank God he's still aimlessly wandering, and thank God he doesn't want to be around anyone because he feels hurt and betrayed, and because he thank God we took everything from him, but thank God he's still breathing. Thank God he's still Thank God he's still just sad all the time. Because wouldn't it be such a fucking tragedy? Wouldn't it be so cruel to me if he made that suffering go away? Wouldn't that just be so selfish? Wouldn't that be so cruel and mean? Just I still want to do something to help my friend. I still want to help her. But we both have problems, and it's slow trying to get something together to have something that I know I can actually do and fight for. I have these grand, lofty ambitions of trying to help the world, make it a better place, or something, and I can't reach them. I'll never be able to because I'm just fucking soft. I'm weak. I'm pathetic. And here it is, fucking raining again. don't know why. I don't get why I can't go. I don't get why people work like this. I don't get why the world is run the way it is. I don't get it. Because it would be so easy for everything to just be so much better. But people are so blinded by the last sin, the last evil in Pandora's box was hope. And you want to know why that is? Why, in the box of all the evils, hope was the last one? It was not a kindness left by the gods. It was a final act of cruelty. It was a final act of cruelty because hope is the belief that things will get better by doing nothing. That one day the clouds will part, and that one day the earth will be kinder. Hope is the belief that the world will be kinder and nicer because eventually good has to win. Hope is the evil presence in the back of your mind that disguises itself as optimism, when really it's blind faith. And faith is the belief in something without evidence. Hope is the belief that if you just suffer a little longer, that it'll get better. But if you can look around you in the world today, does it ever feel like it's getting better? Does it ever feel like there's actually enough of a good fight being put up by enough good people to make things better? God damn it, if you're in America, richest country in the world, does it fucking feel like the richest to you? Or does it feel like someone is choking the fucking life out of you? Does it feel like you no matter how hard you try, you can't make it? The bills are too fucking high. The wages are too fucking small. There's war and genocide happening around the world and nobody cares to stop it. There's still slavery and nobody fights to stop it. There's corruption in every office, on every place in the world, and nobody does anything about it. There's people are so fucking scared of these abstract thoughts of like, oh man, what if my taxes go up? But because yeah, the Bible says I should help people, but what if we fund social services to help the sick and the needy and the poor, and we try to provide aid to the world? But what if my taxes go up? That's not fucking worth it. Are you kidding me? We live in this fucking world where somehow it's in the fucking law, it's in legislation. The only purpose that your fucking life has is to provide fucking profit to yourself and the people you work for. There's no expression of life to any of this. Everything that you're meant to do is so antithetical to how things should be. I shouldn't have to live like this. I shouldn't have to worry about these abstract things. I shouldn't have to see the horrors going on in the world. I shouldn't have to be so aware of the suffering going on and not to be able to do anything about it. I shouldn't have to hope that things will get better, because the things that are so far outside my control by people so far above me are just run by the most cruel or disappointing or morally disfigured people. So the only thing you can do is to hope they change. You have to hope that things get better. You have to hope that life becomes fairer one day. And I don't want to hurt people. I've cried over the fucking bugs I've stepped on. I feel regret. I kill a mosquito and then I feel regret because I didn't deserve it. I don't like fishing because I don't like hurting the fish. I don't want to make a living by paying taxes to a government that hates me, hates the people I love, legislates against the people I love, that funds wars and helps defends genocide. I don't want to have to do this. I'm not strong enough, and I say that the kindest thing you could do for anyone is to fight the evils of the world. I say this. I said this in that other fucking video. I said that the most cruel and vindictive thing you could ever do is to see all this shit happening and then do nothing about it, and yet here I am. I'm surrounded by people who care about me, but I feel so fucking alone. I feel like maybe I'm getting fucking signs from something, but I can't worship a god that gives explicit instructions on the keeping of slaves and on instructions of people to kill with no other direction of any of that. I can't. There's so many contradictions in that. So much evil and cruelty endorsed by this fucking book that I can't believe in that. Even if it's real, even if there is definitively a heaven and a hell, why would I want to go to a heaven to a God who fucking allows this suffering to continue? A God who his miracles began 2,000 years ago and ended 2,000 years ago. How am I supposed to worship a God who, any God, who the kindest and most caring person I've ever met in my entire fucking life, the most outgoing person I've ever met, and I don't think they even fucking realize it. I don't think they realize how kind they were to me and the things that they've done for me and the hope they gave me. Why would a God put a tumor in their head? Why would he put her on a place that, in a time where it's more feasible to think of a painless way to die than to live and to suffer? In a world which will only profit off of your decaying corpse rather than wanting to prevent you from becoming one. I'm I wish so badly that something out of my control would come along and do it for me. A bear in the woods, a car out of control, tumor in the brain. Something that would take my hands off the steering wheel. Something that would make it so that I don't have to try and fight for control anymore. Because when you feel pangs of guilt for trying to upsell somebody on something, you can't fucking make it. I miss playing video games a little bit because I like how they took my mind off things and they gave me immediate control over something with immediate rewards that felt tangible to me. Progression I could actually tangibly see. But a distraction from the suffering doesn't make the suffering go away. It makes it so when it comes back, it hits twice as hard. I would like to play that new Gears of War game. That seems pretty fun. But I don't have anything that can run it, so I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Just the weather today. I need to ask questions about things, and I believe that I choose to believe and choose to have faith in that there is something out there. I always have. That there is meaning to something, even though I know logically that phenomena and weather and a pretty bug landing on you at the right time is random chance and coincidence, but it makes me more comfortable to think that one day I'll be able to ask why for myself and for the world, and wonder why the cruelty exists. The meaning of life is to suffer and persist. And yet in my life and the lives of so many others I talk to, it just feels like we're suffering for nothing. For things we don't believe in. For things we have no control over. So it makes it really fucking hard to persist. I hope the birds know how beautiful they are. I hope they know that their songs are so pretty. And yet I know that so many of the songs you hear in the woods are just screams. I put the phone right here. This really convenient little spot. In case you wonder how I film these, I have to find like a tree branch or something, and I just set it there. I can't afford a tripod or anything. I just thought that would be kind of interesting to share, I guess.